I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of proof.
Order.
If I'm going down,
Order
I'm taking a whole lot of people with me.
Order in the court.
Nino Brown Boxing, I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So, Julian J-Rock Williams unified junior middleweight champion, the guy that took the throne from my fellow DMV native, Jared Swift Hurd, has put on his Instagram page unified champ versus unified champ. Julian J-Rock Williams versus Errol Spence Jr. He said he don't know if it's going to happen next, but maybe soon. We just got to be patient. Cool. But obviously, this is a fight that I would love to see. I would greatly enjoy. But then I paused for a second. And then I thought about the ramifications of this fight being made and the possible outcomes. And it just, like, so many thoughts went through my head. And the first one was like, wait a minute. Errol can't fight J-Rock before Jermell Charlo fights J-Rock. It just wouldn't be right. As much shit as I give Jermell Charlo deserves this fight. If he gets his belt back, he definitely deserves this fight with Julian Williams. And I would, like, with 154 being my favorite division, I would be pissed off if Jermell didn't get that opportunity. Now, under the circumstances, let's just say if Jermell doesn't get his belt back, then it's null and void at that point in time. But just thinking about the possibility of Jermell being the WBC super welterweight champion, junior middleweight champ, and he doesn't get that opportunity to unify with J-Rock before Errol gets to fight him, I think is bullshit. But then it got me thinking, I was like, okay, well, what if the expectation is just this is a possible fight for later on down the line? And then it pissed me off even more. I've spoken on my disdain. I've spoken on my disdain for friendships in boxing. And if Jermell Charlo defeats Julian Williams and he gets a WBC, the IBF, and the WBA belt, and it completely kills the unified champ versus unified champ fight because Jermell Charlo wanted to take his happy ass over there with Derek James and Errol Spence and kill a potential blockbuster event, I'm going to be even more pissed off. I've been on here talking about my favorite division, 154. I've been talking about I see a bright future for Errol Spence at 154. But I know damn well if Jermell beats J-Rock, that fight won't happen. Errol Spence Jr., at that point in time, it wouldn't even make sense for Errol to move up to 154. Like, what are you going to do, chase the WBO belt? And it's just, it sucks because this is the reason why I hate friendships in boxing. It's absolute bullshit. Because it's not like I'm sure many people believe, I'm sure a lot of people believe, at 154, Jermell Charlo is the more popular guy than J-Rock anyway, so I'm sure a lot of people believe that Jermell can beat J-Rock, but vice versa as well. But J-Rock Errol Spence can be a historic fight. You're talking about resume building at its finest. Errol Spence Jr. versus Julian J-Rock Williams. Man, it's a spectacular fight. A Julian J-Rock Williams that have Jermell Charlo on his resume. Oh my gosh, that make it an even better fight. Now you have a storyline built in. Basically, can the little homie avenge the big homie's loss? That's a whole nother dynamic to the story that I initially didn't even think about. But that means a lot of shit has to happen. A lot of things have to take place in order for that fight to actually come to fruition. But the first part that has to happen is who gonna get the fight first, Errol or Jermell? And now I don't believe, it's just, now it's like Errol, he's becoming a businessman. The PBC is backing him seriously, and with this whole Danny Garcia shit, it's been made very clear that Errol Spence does not decide who he fights. So I was going to say Errol Spence wouldn't step on Jermell's toes, but I'm sure since Errol wanted to run it back with Sean, you never know how that shit'll play out. But, and when I mean you'll never know how it'll play out, I mean you never know if the PBC will force Errol to fight Julian Williams before Jermell gets an opportunity to fight Julian Williams. Which, let's just say hypothetically, let's just say Errol beats J-Rock. Let's just say that. So now Errol has the WBC belt at welterweight, the IBF belt at welterweight, the IBF belt at 154, and the WBA belt at 154. Jermell Charlo might as well move his happy ass up to 160 if he's waiting around, because that friendship once again, and this time it's like that friendship, all of that friendship bullshit in boxing, it will stagnate Jermell Charlo's career. And I'm a person that I talk a lot of trash about Jermell Charlo, but it's because 154 is my favorite division, and I want Jermell to have the opportunities. If he gets the belt, I want him to unify. And I will be seriously pissed off if that opportunity is snatched away from him because of popularity. And this will be a situation where the favorite fighter at 154, being Jermell Charlo, will fall victim to the favorite fighter at 147, which being Errol Spence. We all know Errol Spence is a bigger star than Jermell. Jermell Charlo can possibly fall victim to Errol Spence being awarded a fight with Julian J-Rock Williams before Jermell gets the opportunity. Or if Jermell actually gets his opportunity first, the fans can be robbed of an opportunity of seeing the 147 unified versus the 154 unified because of a friendship. So, man, it's so many damn variables when it comes to this situation, and it's damn near impossible to predict it, but ultimately it can play out in a number of ways, and we just have to wait and see what happens. Or worst case scenario, like, this whole conversation could just be irrelevant because the shit won't happen at all. And I'm also taking into consideration, I mean, it seems like J-Rock wants this fight with Errol. He wants this fight with Errol, but he's also saying he doesn't have many fights left at 154. So I'm just thinking to myself, all right, you got Jermell/Tony Harrison, however that's going to go. Then you're talking about Errol, however that's going to go. Then possibly a rematch with Hurd, even though Hurd, he fucked that up when he pulled out the fight. So that's a slight possibility. And I don't think anyone is going to actually pursue the WBO belt. So let's just forget undisputed at this point. Man, it's very interesting, and I hope it happens. But damn, I hope it happens with the bare minimum Jermell Charlo gets his opportunity. Yes, Nino Brown Boxing is making a pro Jermell Charlo video because he has been, if he get his belt back, he stopped Tony Harrison, he deserves it. It's simple as that. But we'll see how things pan out, guys. I hope Jermell gets his opportunity before Errol gets that opportunity. I feel like that's just the only right thing to do. Before Errol fights J-Rock, I feel like Errol, put it like this. Jermell Charlo gets his belt back, J-Rock needs to give him his shot, his unification fight. And before Errol beats Danny going forward, if he's not going to get Bud, if he's not going to get Manny, he needs to go ahead and fight Ugas, get Ugas out the way, because Ugas deserves his opportunity as well. Jermell and Ugas deserve their shot at the unified champions in their division. Now, if Errol and J-Rock can come out victorious in that situation, then I would say J-Rock's final fight at 154 should be Errol Spence's first fight at 154, and I'm talking about first championship fight for Errol at 154. So we'll see how everything play out, guys. It's Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I'm out.